Right. I think we're live. We're live. Good morning, everyone. Welcome and thank you for joining BackerKit's very own launch party. My name is Lafia, and I'll be your host for today. Let's not turn off my video. Let's not do that. Mashing buttons over here. Let's give it 1 minute for everybody else to join. There's a bunch of you here today. How exciting! This is such a great Tuesday morning. Woo! And if you want to pop in the chat, maybe just say hello or like where you're dialing in from, that would be awesome. All right, just counting the 60 seconds in my head. Enjoy the little music. We're gonna have a great day today. All right. Again, my name is Lafia, like I'm in the Mafia. I am on the creator success team here at BackerKit, and in the last 5 years, almost 6 years actually, I've personally had the chance to work with thousands of creators, and let me tell you, the creativity never stops blowing me away. So, again, thank you so much for being here, whether you're a creator, a backer, a friend of BackerKit, or just curious about what all the buzz is about. We're honored to have you be part of such an exciting moment in BackerKit's story. This is a celebration of what's possible in creator crowdfunding and everything that's to come. We've got a fun 90 minutes ahead, stories from the team, spotlights on creators, and a closer look at where we're headed. So grab your coffee, settle in, and get ready, because this is just the beginning. But first, I'll go over our disclaimer and agenda for the day. Let's go to our disclaimer real quick. All right. So the fine print, we have to talk about it. We're not providing any investment advice, and any money invested is at risk. We encourage you to check the TNC terms on WeFunder, a third-party provider enabling us to host a crowdfunding campaign, and of course to educate yourself about the basics of investing in early-stage startups. You do not have to be an accredited investor to participate, and minimum investments start at $100. So please visit our campaign page at wefunder.com/BackerKit for more information. And if you haven't invested yet, now is your chance. And I'll drop that link in the chat. Pop, pop, pop. Oh, can I not chat? No chat. Okay, no chat. My bad. So again, wefunder.com/BackerKit. Cool. So let's quickly share what our agenda is for the party today. We have an outstanding lineup of special guests, including but not limited to Rachel Ruck with Corviforms, Simone Enrico with Two Little Mice, Jamie Grove of Mini Museum, Joseph Goodman of Goodman Games, and many more. We'll also be doing trivia throughout the presentation, and stick around to the end for the Q&A. So if you have any questions, please use the Q&A feature to ask any question at any time, and we'll save those for the end. Okay, now let's hear from our team, Max, Rosanna, and Alex. Take it away.
Cool. Thanks so much, Lafia. I'm Max Salzberg, co-founder and CEO of BackerKit. Want to go, Alex?
Oh. Sure. Go ahead, Rosanna.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm Rosanna. I'm the Chief Creative Officer at BackerKit. My background's in design, and I head the marketing team here, and excited to have you all here.
And hey, everyone, I'm Alex. I'm the COO at BackerKit. I previously was a startup founder, startup exec, and joined BackerKit because of how excited I was about the future of crowdfunding. And so I'm really excited for what we're building right now.
Awesome, so much. Thank you all so much for being here. Really excited that you're all here to help us, help us with this community round and being a part of what we're trying to do here today. I really just want to take 5 minutes to kind of share why we're doing this, why now, and what's next for BackerKit. At its best, crowdfunding isn't just about raising money. It's about unlocking creative ambition. And we really believe as a platform, our job should be to empower creators to be more audacious. right? To take bigger creative risks, to tell deeper stories, and to grow thriving communities of fans who believe in what they're building. Too often, though, the current tools we think fall short. Creators run on one-shot platforms, they have fragmented audience, and they really have little to no support when it comes to building momentum from one project to the next. And that's really what we're aiming here to change at BackerKit. By launching our BackerKit crowdfunding, we really want to imagine what crowdfunding can be. It's not just a place for transactions, but a platform for true fandoms, deep community, and long-term creator growth. Really, our belief is simple. Creators shouldn't have to start from scratch every single time. They deserve tools that grow with them, evolve with their audience, and help them keep making more awesome creative things. And this isn't really just a theory for us, like this is personal. BackerKit actually was born from our own crowdfunded journey. This is a story maybe a lot of folks here maybe know, but in 2010, Rosanna and I launched the first six-figure Kickstarter project on ever. It was a huge breakthrough for us and honestly the whole industry. It was kind of the beginning of this tidal wave of, new way to fund things online. But honestly, behind the scenes, it was kind of total chaos to actually fulfill. It was a great problem to have, but managing backers, tracking fulfillment, following up after the campaign, it was all broken and it was getting in the way of us continuing to make the thing that people loved us for even better. So it started and we just built the tool we wish we have, BackerKit Pledge Manager, and it worked a lot. And it's kind of become the backbone of the crowdfunded economy. The tools we sort of pioneered, are kind of ubiquitous for what it means to be a crowdfunded creator and how you build on your success from one project to another. And today, $1 in $4 on Kickstarter actually flows through our tools, right? But we're not stopping there, right? We pioneered pledge management because we saw it as the biggest bottleneck in 2013 to helping creators grow. And now, in 2024, we're transforming the entire crowdfunding experience. We've seen incredible momentum over the past year with BackerKit crowdfunding. Creators are moving faster, building bigger, and engaging their fans like they never have before. And that's exactly why we're launching this WeFunder campaign. Just like 10 years ago, when we built BackerKit based off of our initial crowdfunding experience, we see this WeFunder as getting back in the trenches with creators, putting our money where our mouth is to some degree. And we think that this experience is going to help propel us and creators for the next 10 years to figure out what do we have to do to build these, creator-centric platform to help, people make awesome things and continue to grow. So, we're ready to go fast. We want to invest in better tools, deeper insights, and have stronger community features. These are things we think every creator needs to keep going further. And again, we want to sort of follow that exact same plan that we're telling creators to push ourselves. So it's just another way we're kind of committing to this way of building transparently and organically. So this community round today is, even though it's kind of a funny meta thing, it's really a chance for creators and backers to help own and shape a piece of that future. Not just to back a campaign, but help us build a vision for what crowdfunding can be. And so I'm so excited you're here today. So thank you very much for joining your time. And I'm really excited to get to chat with more of you and creators. But right now, I'm going to hand it over to Alex for a bit more on why now.
Thanks, Max, and thanks to all of you for joining us. I'm so glad to have so many folks here. It's really fantastic to see, and also some names I recognize of creators that we've worked with. But yes, you might be wondering why now. Why is BackerKit doing an equity crowdfunding round now? And after years of building the business and bootstrapping, this new crowdfunding platform is really the driving force behind this fundraise. We're just a few years into that much larger opportunity for BackerKit, and the momentum has been undeniable. 2024 was a record-breaking year, 23.7 million in revenue. We doubled the growth in funds raised, 4x the number of projects launched. Looking back at the history of the company, we've managed over 3.7 billion in funds, which is just really wild as a small, startup that started with just this dream Max was talking about and this problem space they were looking at. And we've paid over $650 million directly to creators. And so looking at everything that our ecosystem has become, the more than 15 million users who've engaged with us, we thought this was really a time to lean into this momentum and this growth and, just move faster. We have so many great areas for innovation and opportunity ahead, and we just didn't want to wait. So we now have over $1 million raised, over 1,300 investors. I didn't check the latest this morning, but I know it went up. And so that was really one of the big driving forces. But I'd say that, as Max mentioned, sort of the innovation itself is also a big piece of it. We've recently launched industry first innovations that continue to rewrite the rules of crowdfunding. One of them, which you will see more about if you go to wefunder.com/BackerKit or look at the site, is collab funding, which is really, think of it as a multiplayer model where creators can team up to maximize reach, rewards, and revenue. It's a great way for fan bases to join forces across creators in real time. We've seen so much success there. It's been so amazing to see creators lift each other up. We have Launch Party. This is like a off-platform version of it because it's not on BackerKit, but we have an amazing version built into BackerKit for folks launching their campaigns. Overtime mode was an industry first where campaigns get extended based on momentum, unlocking more and more returns after what would traditionally be a deadline. And we're going to be revealing, over the next few weeks, some of the things we're doing in our platform, some of the big themes we're looking at, and how we are going to continue to push crowdfunding further into the creator economy. So I think you'll see the proof is really in the creators choosing us, working with us. We've worked with small creators, large creators. One of my favorite authors, Brandon Sanderson, raised $23 million on the BackerKit, making history, which was so fantastic. And as a small team, raising more funds from our own community lets us have an opportunity to just move more quickly and grow our crowdfunding platform, which ultimately is really what we're here for, which is helping creators succeed. So with that, and a little bit on the why now, I'll switch it over to Rosanna to talk about why us.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Alex. Yeah, so you're probably wondering why us? Why this team? We've been leading since day one, and we're still setting the standard here at BackerKit. So, we were the first to launch a 6-figure crowdfunding campaign like over 10 years ago. Over 13 years ago, we were the first to build Pledge Manager, which is now an industry norm, and other platforms are just starting to finally catch on here. And we are the first to offer an end-to-end crowdfunding platform designed for repeat creators, not just one-off projects. So, we have a lot of firsts for us. But we also worked really closely with thousands of creators. We've seen what works and helped campaigns succeed at twice the industry average. Our team has been creator first from the very beginning. And that's just, our default. We're very hands-on, guiding creators through every step of the journey. And I can confidently say that no other platform offers that level of support for creators. Yeah, and why us? We're not out here trying to copy what others are doing. We work with creators and look ahead and ask what's next? That's how we continue to push crowdfunding forward and help creators build deeper connections with their fans. So, but what truly sets us apart is that we're still founder-led, bootstrapped, and 100% creator first. So, and we've learned something powerful from Backer crowdfunding. When you focus on the people who love you the most, your brand doesn't just grow; it becomes your community. So, that's why we're launching this community round. It's a chance to renew our commitment to the creators and backers who built BackerKit with us, just like we did with our own Kickstarter campaign back in 2010. We believe this puts us in the best position to help creators grow, not just today, but into the future. So, and yeah, that's kind of what makes us different and why creators and backers continue to back on BackerKit. So, I'll pass it over to Max to talk about perks a little bit more.
Awesome. Yeah. So one fun thing about this WeFunder campaign, and we'll talk a little bit about that, is it's funny because equity crowdfunding obviously is a little bit different from rewards-based crowdfunding. We obviously have our customers and our backers are all the experts in rewards-based crowdfunding, and it's been super enlightening building this campaign because they're obviously, given it's an investment, it changes the game a little bit in the sense that your money is directly translating to ownership of the company. But obviously perks are such an important, and rewards are such an important part of rewards-based crowdfunding and also what we do here at BackerKit. We definitely wanted to have a few kind of cool perks. So I wanted to highlight a couple of things that we're doing that are kind of cool, and I'm going to announce sort of one benefit perk that we actually probably should talk about a little bit more. So a few that I just wanted to highlight really quick. Um, the first is that are kind of fun. Obviously, we've done a lot of pins. We've had a lot of innovations with Pintopia. Obviously, our Star Backer, we give out a lot of pins. If you've met us up at a conference, we do a lot of pins. So we're designing a really cool limited edition 5-pin set at the 500 tier. So that's going to be really cool. We're hopefully going to be sharing a little bit about what those might look like, hopefully by the end. Uh, Another thing that actually I want to announce today that we need to talk to a little bit better. We're adding these investor badges. So when you pledge on the campaign, and if you comment or whatnot, there'll be a little badge that you'll sort of get to have as a backer on the platform. But at the $1,000 tier, which is the gold badge, we're going to add an additional perk for creators that there's going to be a section on our homepage dedicated to anyone with a gold or platinum badge that's launched a project is going to get highlighted on our homepage. So this is a great way to sort of, we really want to support the people that support us. And so it's a good thing to do if you are a creator at the $1,000 level, you can get in and, you'll get a little dedicated homepage space. We won't be giving out these gold or platinum badges any other place. So just one way we want to continue to support people. Um, let's see here. I also would love to highlight at the $5,000 level, collab funding has been, again, one of our fastest growing things. And obviously, we both have this kind of like two-sided model, right? We have our Topias, which are like kind of the backer kit organized ones, but we see sort of collab. We're also allowing creators to run their own sort of collab funding events, and we've had a bunch. And Lafia is the expert, so actually, if you want to talk about it, you can chat with her there. Um, we want to collaborate with more creators. So if you back at the 5K level, definitely, we'll hit you up. And if you have an idea, whether it's like you're a specific creator in a certain niche and you have a little bit of a community that you want to highlight and build up, we want to work with you to make cloud funding a really great way for you to grow your audience with your community. Um, so that's super exciting and super fun. Uh, Finally, at the 10K level is a really important kind of thing, and this is for a lot of definitely geared towards our creators. But in addition to owning 10K in equity in BackerKit, we also are having the ability to having some of our creators who want to stick with us for a long period of time even earn back their investment in discounts on the crowdfunding platform. So this is really awesome because I think it really gets three benefits for every creator who pledges at the 10K level. One, you obviously get to help support a strong backer kit whose mission is to help you grow as a business. Two, you're going to get $10,000 worth of equity. So the growth you help us grow by participating in this, you're going to sort of see some of the upside in the future. And third, you can eventually get discounts to earn back your money. So it's a really good thing if you think, if crowdfunding is really fundamental to your business and you think you're going to be doing it a long time, this is a tier for people who we want to be deeply partnering with for a long period of time. Uh, the final Easter egg that I'd love to say too, because this is maybe some fun backer kit lore, we're the way that actually Rosanna and I met originally in the early days of BackerKit is we needed help designing the t-shirt reward for our Kickstarter. And Rosanna is actually the designer of that t-shirt. And there's been like some 3XLs kicking around the office for the past 10 years. Some people have sort of found them. But we're going to be reissuing this OG t-shirt that kind of started this partnership at all. It is at the $10,000 level. It's extremely rarefied earth Kickstarter or BackerKit deep lore. So that's why that's there. It's really important. But yeah, if it seems kind of funny, we're getting a Diaspora shirt. If you've ever been a customer and gotten an invoice from us, you see that company name is still Diaspora Inc. But doing business as BackerKit. But yeah, so that's one thing I just wanted to highlight. There's other good stuff, and we'll probably maybe even be rolling out a couple additional things that we'll post updates on WeFunder. But for right now, those are some ones that we're pretty excited about. So let's see here. Moving on to the agenda.
Cool. Yeah,
Uh,
we're ready for our first creator. Thanks, Max, for going over those perks. Again, if you're just joining us right now, please jump over to wefunder.com/backerkit, and you can see all of the tiers there. Cool. So we have our first special guest. This is Rachel Ruck with Corviforms. They'll be joining us. It'll be like magic, like summoning the creators from the green room. Right. And I'm going to say all the gushy stuff once Rachel gets on screen. Okay, great. Hi, Rachel. How are you? Oh, you are muted.
Sorry about that. Should be good now.
Perfect. Perfect day. I'm so excited. So Rachel is Rachel Ruck of Corviforms. Rachel is very special. She was the first campaign to launch on BackerKit crowdfunding, our crowdfunding platform. When you go to a restaurant and you see that framed dollar bill, which means it's the restaurant's like first raised money. Well, Rachel is that to us. She is priceless though, worth way more than a dollar. But I love working with you, and I love seeing your Ita bags out in the wild. So
Yeah.
could you briefly introduce yourself and let us know where
Yeah.
you find your inspiration for your Ita bags, your pins, and your plushies?
Absolutely. So my name is Rachel, as you said. I own Corviforms. I make mostly bird merch, bird related stuff. My biggest thing was my bird Ita bags. I find inspiration like directly out the window in front of me. I have 3 pet birds as well. So I'm always looking at birds all the time. I've always been into nature and stuff. So it's just cool to be able to design stuff that takes that into account and share it with people who also enjoy it.
Amazing. Um, can you tell us a little bit how like you got into crowdfunding and maybe what was your proudest moment as a creator?
Yeah. So I've been working on crowdfunding since like 2017. I started with a little pin project. I thought pins look kind of popular. I hope that they're still like in still popular. Fortunately, they are still going really strong right now. So I started a project with a silly little bird pin way back in the day, and it went really well. And I learned a lot from that. During the day, I'm a scientist, but I've always been into like art stuff. So I like to kind of combine that with like the bird stuff and the art stuff. So I just like to make as much bird stuff as I possibly can. And proudest moment as a creator would have to be my bird Ita Bags project that raised like over 170,000 on BackerKit. Yeah, which was awesome. That was the one that was the first project to launch on BackerKit. It did fantastic. I felt like I had so much support from you guys. It was great. And then the other would just be the fact that I bugged you guys enough that you actually let me crowdfund on your platform.
Yes, no, it's 1,000% true. You were kind of it was obviously something we are like, oh, do we do this when it is? And then it was, it's you and a lot of other creators, but you,
Mhm.
really kind of, overflow with our cup a little bit. And we finally pulled the trigger. And I'm so happy we did. And so grateful that you've given us your support all these years. I'd love to also call out too, because Rosanna pointed this out to me too, and I think it's a perfect example of how, something we always say is our creators are living in the future, and we gotta like be watching them and seeing them and take hints from them and then, develop into something. And, a lot of the basis of collab funding, it really did start with for that first project, you did a little cross collab. We just had a little feature that was just like a banner, but you used that
Yeah.
with Jason, who was also doing his pizza pins, to do a little bit of a funny cross collab reward. And it was, of course, fully fully made up. Basically, Rachel and Jason kind of got together in Discord, I think, and just said, "Hey, let's co-design a pin, and if you back both, you'll get both pins," right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so funny because that was such an amazing kind of crowdfunding moment, and I remember it just kind of hitting us like a bag of bricks or something. That's like, oh, there's something really cool here that like, you know, birds and pizza. I don't know what the Venn diagram overlap is. They're both like awesome, positive things, but so thank you for that kind of idea of sort of, really being a big inspiration yet again.
Yeah, I love being flexible and going with any of the crazy ideas that come up. As long as it sounds like a good idea, I'm down to try it. So,
Yeah, and honestly, I think a lot of our features actually came from creators always poking us, being like, "Hey, have you thought about this?" And we're like,
mhm,
"No, let's think about it a little more." So thank you so much
yeah.
for being so innovative. So what excites you most about the future of crowdfunding?
Honestly, things that we haven't really even thought of yet, I would say, because I feel like there's so much stuff like I've done the collab stuff multiple times, and that's worked out really well for me. Not only for me, but for me giving new creators a step up where like I can share my base with them. So that's been really fun for me to be able to kind of share my backers with other people who I think like your work's really good, it's just not out there yet. So I've had a great time doing that. So any like new types of collab funding, not sure what they'll be yet. I haven't thought of anything, but like, whatever someone comes up with, that'll be really cool. And I'm sure there's going to be things that we can make work that we haven't even thought of yet.
Amazing. And that's why we're here. It's exactly why
Yeah.
we're here. Cool. So what are you working on these days? What do you got in the pipeline for core reforms? What's your next campaign?
Well, I do have ideas for more Bird-Ita bags because people are always asking for more. But currently, I am pregnant, so I am on hold with projects right now because I don't want to pack. I've been hand packing everything myself. Don't feel like dealing with a basement warehouse of like thousands of bird bags right now. So giving it a little pause. My Etsy's still open, my website's still open, and wait till everything calms down, and then I'll get back into it.
Oh my goodness. Major congratulations. You've got a
Thank
little
you.
chickadee in the
Yeah.
nest.
And I've got so much cute bird stuff already. I'm good to go.
Oh, I feel like that's I don't know if you're a millennial, but I feel like that's the millennial thing is birding now, right? We went from
Oh, yeah.
sourdough making and now to, what was it? Not the cricket. What is it? Squash. And now we're all into birding.
Yes. Yeah. It was a great time to make bird merch because everyone got really into birds. So hopefully that keeps going.
I think so. I think so. Awesome. So thank you so much for joining us today. And we're gonna go on to our next guest.
Yeah.
But
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we'll see you soon. Thanks, Rachel.
Bye.
Thanks.
All right. Our next guest is gonna be Jamie Grove of Mini Museum. And here they come. I feel like we need like a little drum roll or like entrance music like at baseball stadiums. Oh, and don't forget, if you have any questions, please drop those into the Q&A at the bottom of your screen. We've already got a couple so far. It'd be great to answer your questions at the end. So go ahead and drop those in. I can just make my own music. All right, there he is. You're muted, by the way. I think you come in muted.
I think I've heard that before about me. I come in muted, and then people want to mute me after I'm done talking.
Oh no! Hi, Jamie. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Doing great. So Jamie is with Muni Museum. They are one of the first creators to use BackerKit's launch party feature, and they were streaming for over 3 hours. It was absolutely epic. Loved seeing you guys on the couch. You were talking about all the specimens, and it just really got your backers and your audience like really going. You had some fun polls in there. And Mini Museum had their best launch ever on BackerKit, raising over 450,000 in that short time while they were streaming. So,
Yeah,
Jamie,
during the stream, it was crazy.
can you give us a brief intro of yourself and how you got started with the Mini Museums?
Sure. So Mini Museum's been around for 11, 12 years now. And yes, we've been around for a long time. And all of us here used to be part of a company called ThinkGeek, which a lot of people may remember. And then some billionaire bought us out and set us all to the Phantom Zone. But when we started this company, and it was wonderful, and it was a project just to get started and help our friend Hans actually launch and have this cool product that he could make at home. You know, the typical crowdfunding story, right? And then 5,000 people, $1.2 million later on our first campaign. And it was like, okay, we have a business. So that's kind of like how our adventure got started. And we've been doing this now for all this time. We've had 6 total campaigns in crowdfunding. We also have an e-commerce business, just a general one where you can come buy cool things from all space and time at minimuseum.com. But our crowdfunding projects have always run on BackerKit as on the back end. And then, of course, as you noted, that we had the a launch party when we launched MM5, our 5th edition. And it was totally crazy and fun. So that's kind of like the high level, unless you want to get into talking about, you know, meteorites that are billions of years old, or, you know, more recent things like dinosaurs or spaceships or whatever.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here, Jamie. Obviously, yeah. You know, Jamie has been such a supporter of BackerKit in every iteration, and, you know, well, we could probably do a whole webinar just talking like 2 hours for the
I think
various
what's been
things. So
wild is how
yeah,
the company, your company, has grown in the time that we've been, doing this together. And from the very beginning, you were always so passionate about what creators were doing and making things possible that would otherwise just be a nightmare for creators to deal with. And then every iteration, every addition that's come along, just constant product evolution, just making things so much easier for us to run, creator businesses. It's been incredible. But yeah, you're right. We could have a
yeah.
whole long
Could have a whole
thing.
podcast probably. Yeah, no, I just want to say like I'm hosting Mini Museum on BackerKit was such a proud moment for me because in a lot of ways I kind of feel like Mini Museum is like the perfect crowdfunded product, right? It's by no means small, but it's this very interesting object that like, needs a passionate group of people to support to probably make it real. And I just, yeah, that's always been something I've been enamored with. It's just like one of the things I'm so happy I got it over on my shelf over here. But, it's like something I love to like have and just do, but like being a part of that story and just have it be, I don't know, it's just like the perfect crowdfunded item because
Oh,
it's like
thanks.
this kind of wild thing. Like, how could this ever get made
I mean, it would
anywhere
never
in the
get
way?
made any other way. There might be
Yeah.
like one might have been made, but not like a whole line,
Yeah.
literally just physically one object. But
Yeah,
yeah,
and so yeah, so I mean, obviously, I always appreciate it, and it's even more inside baseball with your past experience. I do remember the first time we ever got on the phone, and you're just like, I get this, I need this. Like, let me just talk to you for 45 minutes and like, just like figure out what we need to do, and just always really appreciated your guidance. Again, I say like creators live in the future, and it's our job to sort of like extract the great parts about it and help them also work on the sort of
yeah,
insane parts about it. But yeah, I've just always really appreciated you both trying everything we've done, but also pushing it to the limits. And yeah, so perfect example of like I think yeah, you were the first launch party, but it was also like such a fun thing. It was a fun
that was
thing to
so
see for
wild
your
too, because
thing.
you
Yeah,
guys were so willing to do anything. Like we would try anything. Well, let's have little badges for people who backed multiple projects. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's do all kinds of wild and crazy things. And then of course we had a crazy video set up too, with like it was like a production studio, and so it was fun. It really set the bar high. I was asking some other folks, like, what was your favorite thing that we've done over the last few years? And everybody on the team was like, launch party, launch party. We should do that all the time. So let's stop selling fossils and just have a wild and crazy television program.
yeah,
So thank
like you
you
said,
for making
yeah.
that possible. I mean, having all those tools available to us, and also like the fifth edition in general. Like again, this is one of those side things, but the fifth edition in general, like the way the project page looked itself, on the actual crowdfunding campaign, impossible to do anywhere else. So that part was also fantastic. So I don't know, I'm just so excited about where things are going.
That's amazing. And I was enthralled. I was listening to the live stream while I was working, and it was kind of reminded me of like QVC. You just kept bringing up the specimens, and I was like, "Oh my God, that's so cool. That's so cool. Are you kidding me?" So it was just like for all of us nerds out here, that was just, I think, the perfect platform. So thank you so much for doing that with BackerKit.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Also, thank you for shipping such a beautiful
Oh,
object.
look, there it
Really nice
is.
to see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask one more question, and then you can
Okay.
promote the next. Well, I think there's Mini Museum 6 on the horizon.
There's lots.
But what are you looking forward to about the future of crowdfunding?
I think what I'm looking forward to is just meeting more creators, really. And so like getting in touch with customers and or backers, and being a community driven business, kind of like we are, that's always fun. I always love talking to people, and long term relationships with those folks who buy over multiple periods. But I'm always excited to meet new creators. I was just in the green room, and there was like all these other creators, and there was just so much fun and so much energy, and I always love hearing what other people are doing. And so the idea of new creators getting involved, not to plug a side project, but my kid is a engineer at the University of Cincinnati, and yeah, so he is actually in the process right now of putting together a crowdfunded project to launch a automotive engineering product that is completely not something you can ever get on the market. It's not something anyone's ever going to make, but it's something that solves a problem that a lot of people have and would love to have. I can't if he heard me right now talking about it, he'd probably be mad. So because he's like, I'm not telling anybody about it till it's ready. All right, all right. But that kind of energy is what I look forward to most in crowdfunding, because doing cool things. I mean, great big companies are great, but they also make a lot of boring products. Where small companies are awesome, and medium-sized companies are awesome because we're always pushing the edge. And like Mac said, living in the future, and that's meeting new crowdfunding folks. It's always fun for me.
Love to hear that. That's kind of one of my personal philosophies is we are creating creators, and this realm is not big enough. There's 8 billion people on this planet, and every single one of us has that idea.
Yeah.
Cool. So last little bit, yeah, what's on the horizon for you? Is Mini Museum 6 coming out? When is it
Well,
coming
we're
out?
always super secret over here. So, like, of course, Mini Museum 6 is in process. We had already announced Mini Museum Oceans, which it's basically ready. I'm just waiting on 2 specimens, which are impossible to get. And I mean, they're not impossible. You can get them. It's just one of them is extremely dangerous to go get. So I'm waiting for the right time to go get it, but so I don't get swallowed up by the ocean. So that's one of the things that that we have coming up. Mini Museum 6, and then we've got a special secret project I can't talk about, but it involves one of the world's largest entertainment properties. It'll be completely different than anything we've ever done, but yet the same. And if you're excited about nerdy things, you will be pretty jacked up about this.
Oh boy, that sounds super exciting.
Yeah.
Jamie, thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you so much for
you.
being part of our community. I love working with y'all, and I know the rest of I'm on the Success team, and I know everybody loves working with you. You're one of our favorites. So thanks so
Awesome.
much for being here today.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having me. It's a lot of fun, and good luck on everything. All right.
Jamie.
Thanks.
Thanks so much for your support.
See you later.
All right, and now we have our next guests. Plural, I was correct. Simone and Rico of Two Little Mice. I hope y'all are having fun. And again, if you have any questions, please drop those into the Q&A section at the bottom. And then we'll answer those at the end of the presentation today. Hope everybody's having fun. Hope you're enjoying meeting these creators. Rico, you're muted, but is your partner Simone coming on?
Should be here any seconds now.
Okay. I love the we need little sound effects.
Yeah. But he likes to create a little bit of anticipation.
Okay. Well, I'll do a little drum roll. How's your day so far, Rico?
It's going great. We got an early summer here in Italy. I'm in Rome right now. It's pretty hot, but we are enjoying summer a little bit earlier than expected.
Oh boy. Shouldn't be talking about global warming. I know we had a heat wave here in California too, but this week is going to be chill.
But we are also on a crowdfunding campaign on BackerKit, so we are not taking that much vitamin D either.
Do you want to shout out that live campaign on BackerKit right now? So while we're waiting for Simone.
Yeah, we are currently live with Outgunned Superheroes, which is RPG, a sequel to our RPG Outgunned, and it's going wonderful. Probably our strongest launch yet, so pretty happy about it.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Awesome. And I think it ends in 2 days. Is it ending tomorrow or Thursday?
Yeah, 48 hours or something, in Thursday. So depending on the overtime, of course.
Yeah.
So it could be more.
We'll make sure to drop the link in the chat so folks can check it out while they're hearing from you.
Cool. So Rico and Simone, can you give a little brief introduction about yourselves and how you got into the world of RPGs?
Of course. Can I start, Rico?
Yeah, please go ahead.
We basically started, we started in the RPG world in 2019 with our very own first role-playing game, just in Italy, in Italian, of course. It was Household, and we will be back on that. And then we discovered the crowdfunding world in 2020 after the pandemic stuck. Me and Rico have had different jobs. We work in video and theater, but everything in Italy it hit pretty hard back then. So we ended up with nothing from one day to the other. Everything closed, set closed, theater closed for nobody knows how much. And then we decided to use all the time we had on our hand to keep what we were working on which was our second role-playing game, and using the crowdfunding to bring it to life in the first attempt just in Italian, and then to use this instrument, the crowdfunding, to have our first role-playing game translated in English to have it distributed worldwide. And I mean, since then, it took up for us. It went really well, our first experience. And yes, then we launched ourselves into this big world. First with Broken Compass, that with Household in English. And then we came to Bucket with Memento Mori at first, I think 1.5 years ago, a couple of years ago, and then with Outgun Adventure, which was our biggest yet, and then Household 2, we are growing ever since we started 5 years ago. We started this as our main occupation.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's been so fun to support your campaigns and just like to see the growth. And I think one of the things that we've spoken about that I just am left very inspired by is yeah, how you think of yourselves as, trying to build a tiny fandom, right? That I mean, obviously you have this background in sort of theater and TV and whatnot, but it's really been awesome to sort of see, obviously you have couple different properties, but they're very much, I think, a very smart thing that we're seeing other creators do, but I think you're like the prime example of just like you're trying to like build something, from campaign to campaign, and there's these like through lines, and I think there's a lot, that's both exciting and inspiring, in just, not just how you're constructing your campaigns, but you're also constructing the creative things that you're making, right? They're meant to sort of be experienced one after the other. Do you have any additional thoughts or anything? I know we've talked about that in the past, but
Yeah, it's the cool thing about crowdfunding is that it makes it can give you a lot of time to build around, a single project, a single product. Now we live, we live in a society where everything is really fast, everything is happening. Now there is this movie for a week, and then we go to the next movie, and then to the next, and everything is so fast that if you are a smaller creator like us, you not only have a problem we always say this is the best time to speak, so it's the hardest time to be heard, because everyone is speaking volume right now. And this is the best part, because we don't have to go through distribution anymore. We don't have to wait for some corporation to say, okay, this product can go to retail. We can speak directly to our audience. That's kind of the best for an artist. But on the other side, we don't have kind of the the money, the infrastructure, to do a huge like advertising campaign like Marvel or Disney or all this kind of people would do. So how do we make our product, been spoken about? How will we make the audience hooked to a certain project for a long time? And through crowdfunding, we can discuss about the creation of the project. So we actually we don't have maybe a lot of advertising, a lot of happening, but we have an opportunity to build a strong community. And what we do with Outgun, for example, every supplement to Outgun is also a standalone genre book. Like what we did last year was Outgun Adventure. This is a supplement to Outgun, but you can also start from here. So we are trying to build a narrative around our project, but also avoid gatekeeping, new players. And that's what's working for us. Not only it's what's important, but what's really working for our business is that we can cultivate something and give meaning to what we are doing, basically.
yeah,
Absolutely.
I'll just add one more point, Lafayette, which is,
Yeah.
I mean, I think that this is something that's so cool, right? That I think we've seen in crowdfunding, right? It's like you can model some of these kind of fan dynamics that maybe you think used to just be for bigger companies. And it's just really cool to see crowdfunding sort of democratizing that same mode of building fans and direct, deep relationships with customers. And that's something, we're so excited to kind of continue to try to foster a little bit, is that like, yes, it's a playbook and it seems, right, it seems funny. I know you referenced Marvel, that it's like, oh, it's a giant billion-dollar corporation, but there's a way to scale that down to even when you're just starting. And I think crowdfunding is a great way to sort of um, focus on that. So yeah, just thank you so much for sharing that. And we're excited to keep building and hopefully keep having bigger, outgunned and wholesale projects. So
Fingers
Yeah, and
crossed.
that's what I was gonna say. Your backer community is one of the nicest and the most engaged. I monitor all the live campaigns. I help out our backer support team. You read some of the tickets, and it's like they're all just so nice and they're just so eager. And they're like, "Oh, I didn't get this system. I needed to get the other system. What do I need to do?" And it's just like you guys have just created this amazing community of folks. So one more question: what excites you most about the future of crowdfunding?
I'll
And
leave it.
it's about the community for us. We are trying, and I hope we are succeeding in using consistently the crowdfunding tools to help our community and to stay in contact, in constant contact with our community. In this way, it's not just we do something, we give you something, you like it or not, but you are in all the step you are in when we are trying to sell you. When we sell you, we try to communicate to you audience, what we are trying to do, and what resonates with the audience, what's is actually good, what is not clear, and we use the feedback to improve our writing, our designing, our game, our production, what items are better or worse, are more popular, for what reason, what's the matter. And so throughout the year and throughout various also throughout the various campaigns we have and we can keep talking with the audience, hopefully keep expanding also our audience, but in an environment, creating an environment when it's first and foremost two little mice, kind of space, and the audience can somehow be part of the group, of the not just of the fandom, and also part of what's helping us making what we do. So yes, what's for us the most exciting part about the future of crowdfunding is to keep this audience, this community growing and engaged with us, with our products, and with our work, with our philosophy, our way of working, in a way.
I just want to say a hell yeah to that. And then what is in the pipeline? I know you guys have a live campaign right now. It's ending in 48 hours, but what's on the horizon? You can plug or promote your next one coming out.
We have actually a lot coming out. I cannot anticipate anything, but definitely what we want to do, we want to keep building on what we already have. We want to keep upgrading Outgun, because especially for an RPG, I think that there is so many systems out there, there's so many rule set out there that people right now, when they invest time, which is our most important resource, into learning something that they have to get something out of it. So we definitely want to keep expanding Outgun, and we're also want to try a new thing. Hopefully at the end of the year we'll try something very different, as we did with Memento Mori. We were talking with other creators before entering here. We were saying no crowdfunding campaign is like the others. Like we all have our own stories. So what we anticipate for the future is to try something that we have never tried and maybe achieve what we have never achieved so far. And always try to outsmart our community, because as you say, they're very engaged and they're always on to us. So our big, like what we think about when we go to sleep is how can we still surprise them? How can we still deliver something that will excite them?
Be one step ahead of them somehow.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's not easy.
They are on to us.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. But yeah, everybody check out their live campaign. The link is in the chat. But it was lovely talking to you, and I hope you have a great rest of your evening.
Thank you. And thank you for what you are doing for the whole community.
Thank you. Ciao.
Thank you.
Amazing. Oh my goodness. I get teary-eyed with talking to all these creators. They're just so amazing. So next coming up is Carly K with Mythic Management. Another one of my favorites. Hi, Carly. And you came in muted. Everybody comes in muted.
I don't know why, but hello.
Hi, how are you?
Doing all right. How are you today?
Doing great. Thank you so much for joining us. I was gonna say Carly K, I think, is one of the creators who has joined the most amount of group collabs with BackerKit. You've participated in 3 of our Topias. You are in 2 group collabs. I think you're in one that's coming up soon. And Carly is one of the biggest contributors in our creator Discord. You were always in there jumping in, answering other creator questions, helping out the newbies. Just always see you so active in there. So thank you so much for being part of our community. How many times can I say community? So please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about how you first got into the world of crowdfunding.
Sure. Hi, I am Carly of Mythic Management. My major business is Dragon Woodshop, which I focus on designing and creating bespoke displays for collectibles. BackerKit is a great way for me to also create some of those collectibles for others. I first started in 2023 as part of the first Pintopia, and I got to make some really cool little like interconnected pins. Um, I've been doing what I do though since 2018, so I'm not like a new person by any means, but I feel like I got a little bit of experience under my belt. I've launched 7 successful projects through BackerKit, soon to be 9. Um, and as Lafia was saying, I've been part of multiple Topias, which are those BackerKit sponsored collaborations, as well as multiple 2-person projects. And Liz of Snarky and I started the Pin Kids Collective, which is a group aimed towards teaching other businesses how to properly run a crowdfund so that they can also create cool stuff.
Amazing. Oh my goodness. What haven't you done, Carly?
Well, I haven't jumped out of a plane, so there's that.
Plenty of time to do
There's
that.
always
Please send
time.
us photos.
No, please no.
So can you tell us, since you have so many crowdfunding projects under your belt, what has been your proudest moment as a creator so far?
Well, it's not crowdfunding related, but it is kind of what helped get a lot of what I do started. My proudest moment was I was actually officially licensed with Brandon Sanderson's company, Dragonsteel, to produce a coin display. For those of you who don't know, Brandon Sanderson is one of the best-selling authors of like all time and has also run the largest Kickstarter and BackerKit ever. So that license really kind of just helped boost me into a sphere that I hadn't quite like broken into. I was trusted by a company that I admired, as well as thousands of people who had really no idea who I was. I was just kind of some random woodmaker from North Carolina. But that trust meant like a ton for me. And it felt like I was finally at the real starting line of running a small business instead of just kind of quietly grinding in the background.
Awesome. Carly, one of the things that we're so excited to have you on the platform, obviously, is this kind of the proliferation of sort of group collabs. Obviously, collab funding was a big deal with Artopias, and we use them both as a platform to like help give spotlight to a lot of creators, but also to push a lot of innovative features on the platform because we generally try to like lean in and try things that work, things that don't work. One of the things that was so cool was kind of how you and your sort of collaborators kind of latched on to sort of kind of really buff out what that group collab kind of thing could be, which the thing that's been so powerful about it is like it allows creators to sort of, curate their own group of people. It also has kind of led to a lot of like if you wanted to launch a new category on the platform, like getting a few creators who have sort of a similar audience or a similar vibe. We have a great not to plug, we did a Mothership Month, which was sort of this RPG Tuesday Night Games. They sort of did it around one of their properties, or Joe Goodman has also kind of done this. He'll be speaking later today. But yeah, just this idea of like it can be a really great way to like if you have a bunch of creative folks who are all in a space and you all want to sort of step into the spotlight together and hold each other up. it's turning into this very interesting model where it's like, yeah, creators together are strong, and it can have really good effects for not just cross-pollinating between maybe like similar creators, but also just creating it to be more gravity to sort of make it a more fun, unique experience where, you're building something unique because it's you doing it with your three closest collaborators. So I just want to say, like, I mean, we think the Pin Kids Collective is super cool and just like taking a lot of inspiration. I think that there's a lot um, for all sorts of different creators. I've seen some questions that we'll get to later, but it's like it's a great way to break into both for BackerKit as categories of like, let's go find a few people who sort of share a aesthetic or vibe or whatever. It really can be around whatever. But it sort of creates a great space to sort of try new things and reach new folks.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. And I think one of the hardest parts for new creators to get into crowdfunding is just like not knowing what to do. And BackerKit is one of the easier platforms to build a project on, but there are still always those questions like, should I do it this way? Should I try it that way? One of the things that we always suggest to people who come into the collective is go study like other platforms, like go study what other creators that you've admired, go like just look at their projects and then pull inspiration from how like they wrote something or what images did they put up or what kind of tiers did they do. And so we really like taking that kind of teaching aspect to be more helpful towards our fellow creators.
Amazing. All right, final question. What are you looking forward to with the future of crowdfunding? I know you're talking about these collabs and these cross collabs, but what are you personally looking forward to?
I've got quite the answer. so there are a lot of amazing things that are happening because of the accessibility of crowdfunding. I've seen authors like indie authors create some of the most gorgeous books that like traditional publishing you normally wouldn't be able to get, which is something I'm hoping to do later this year as part of Printopia. I've watched small businesses take off because they didn't have to gamble on uncertain demand. And I really think with mass created products being a problem, bespoke things that like what I make and what a lot of my fellow BackerKit creators make, this is really where the industry is headed. I think a lot of people are making meaningful things happen, and buyers, like our consumers, are excited about that. As Maxwell was saying, crowdfunding is bringing creators and communities, there's the community word, closer together. Because when fans feel like it's being made for them, it builds this engagement, this loyalty, and this excitement to be part of the creation experience. Not everybody is a creator, but they like to feel like their voice is being heard. And it gives it like a sense of ownership to our consumers. And that kind of empowerment really just like you can't knock it. Like there's a reason it exists. And in terms of BackerKit specifically, I think that there's like loads of potential. And I am genuinely just like really excited because the way that the whole team just interacts with us as creators and then makes these like small fixes or like these improvements to the platform that just makes it easier for us, like that's not something you can get on Kickstarter or what's the other ones, Indiegogo and stuff like that. And I do think BackerKit actually has the potential to kind of like evolve how this all works. Like if this kind of became the place that people are shopping for, knowing that there is going to be like a typical waiting time because it is crowdfunding, but they come here because you're like, I know I can come here for a new game, a cool jacket, or like a thoughtful gift for somebody, as opposed to just getting something mass produced from Amazon or Temu. And I think like if BackerKit can pull that off, like that kind of shift really then gets people excited about the process of supporting creators as opposed to just buying stuff. Now there, there's obviously sometimes a need for, it's like, oh crap, I forgot someone's birthday. Like you need a little something to give them, but it's like, but hang on, because there's this sick game coming out on BackerKit and like I've supported it in your name. And so then it's kind of like a little special gift there. And I think it'd be good. I think it would be really cool.
Oh man, you had hit the nail on the head perfectly. That's why I love working with you. You were just such an inspiration in this community. Thank you so much for joining us today. And you and everybody check out their upcoming Pin Kids. The link is in the chat. And yeah, thanks so much, Carly. Have a good day.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, Carly.
All right, we've got 2 more creators. I know we're running a little behind time, but I'm having fun. Hopefully, everybody else is having fun. And this is why we're here. I love talking to our creators. Hi, Jason. You always people come in muted, so feel free to unmute yourself.
There I am.
And give us a little brief introduction of who you are and what you're doing.
Hi there, everybody. I'm Jason Bullman. By day, I work for a company called Paizo, working on Pathfinder and other board games. By night, I run my own small imprint called Minotaur Games, who basically creates whatever I feel like creating. I spend most of my time working on small board games, card games, role-playing game supplements. I'm currently in the middle of creating a hack of Pathfinder 2nd Edition called Hellfinder.
Amazing. Max is just itching. Like, Max, you can just jump in.
Yeah, Jason, thanks so much for being here. I have to say too, so I'd love to chat about Hellfinder. I'm really excited for this
Oh,
one.
yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, not to mention it's cool, I guess, not to give you some it's cool you're making a hack for a game that you also are the creator of. So I just
Well,
appreciate
nobody
that.
knows it better than me.
Yes,
That's not
but-
true, actually. Some of my fellow designers of 2nd Edition probably actually do know it better than me, but I do know it rather well. Yeah.
Yes. So there's a lot of cool stuff. I'd love for you to talk about Hellfinder specifically. There's
Sure.
sort of like some backer kit tech that I think when we had some of our early conversations that one of the things that why I'm excited about it is I said this 3 times, but our creators kind of live in the future. And I think you saw something about Launch Party using it as the community hub because you've been doing sort of an involved lead into Hellfinder. I know you don't want to spoil any secrets or anything, but do you want to talk about that a little bit? Or maybe talk a little bit
Sure.
about
So,
what Hellfinder is and what you're trying to use the platform to make it even more of an awesome experience for your backers?
Yeah, BackerKit, I've had experience with it numerous times via, either being a part of a project or using BackerKit to do my fulfillment on the back end or stuff. So when it came to Hellfinder, I was like, I'm using BackerKit all in. And the thing that I started realizing right away was you've got your teaser page, which, is like, hey, follow my project. I'm super excited about it. But I was like, boy, I wish there was a way that I could give people more and let them know about it and continue to chat with them. And I was like, oh, Launch Party. But I was like, wait, isn't that only just for launching? And I was like, nah, you know what? Screw it. Launch Party starts now. That was way in advance. And I just started using the Launch Party tools to share updates, do polls, and do other small things with my community, just to kind of get people excited, put more information out there. It's a way for me to kind of tease out the story of Hellfinder. Hellfinder is kind of a mystery. The product itself will be a bit of a mystery. You're going to get 3 sealed packets, and you're told to only open the first one at the start of your play. The other 2 remain sealed. The story of this is a thing that kind of unfolds over time. It's a horror game, so I don't want you to know all of the terrible things that are happening right away. And likewise, I'm able to use Launch Party to start putting out weird clues and cryptic hints as to what the overall story is about. So my Launch Party page is very unconventional. It's filled with odd images, scraps of text, audio recordings, and other bits of obscure knowledge. And the entire point of it is to kind of give people a sense of what the game is going to be about, without kind of giving away all of its secrets.
Yeah, the thing that just speaks to me, I have a lot to say because there's been a lot of inspiration here. So again, I'm very grateful. One of the things that this campaign is bringing up for me, and has really been a lot of we have some exciting stuff that I'm not ready to announce yet, but maybe during the course of this WeFunder campaign, we'll be ready to announce. But the fact that it's what I love about this is that this product is better because it's crowdfunded, because you can almost extend the experience to actually the community that's going to be playing it, but also it's becomes part of it to some degree. And I think that that's something that I'm really excited in a world kind of like what Carly was saying, where it's you can always go buy something somewhere, but by participating in something, it sort of adds a whole nother layer to what this thing is. Just like it is exactly, I think, the kind of things we want to be, helping creators to support, right? That it is about their communities that really want to do this, but these campaigns are extensions of the product themselves, and it's, definitely better than just buying it somewhere, right? It's like you
I,
get to participate in.
I view it as more than just a product, it's an experience. You know, being there as it ramps to launch, allowing, you know, during the launch campaign, obviously I'm going to have a lot more to say. There's going to be a lot of things going on. You know, hints, clues, cryptic, broadcasts and transmissions, you know, and also I'm going to do some more conventional stuff as well. I'm planning on doing an actual play kind of intro adventure, you know, with some folks and streaming that so that folks can get a sense of what the game actually plays like. But you know, other than that, it is kind of about the experience, and you know, that alone kind of makes it a unique tool in my arsenal to kind of bring this story to life.
Yeah, it's definitely that's one of our biggest privileges here at BackerKit is we get to work with lots of creative people who have lots of ideas, and they're constantly pushing the platform to do stuff and to say like I'm excited of the stuff we're going to announce because I think there's something really interesting there of again making that beginning phase of your campaign not just about like, hey, it's coming, but how do you start that experience now and sort of be a great place to drop information, give rewards, build that experience. So really excited about that. So really inspired. I think the other thing too, I'll have to gush to shift, one of the other things I love after 12 years of still working on BackerKit is obviously we get to work with a lot of really cool creators who are doing cool stuff. Um, I just have to shout out to like, thanks so much for running through the playthrough of Pathfinder Quest. That was so fun. Obviously, it's pretty cool. I get to, as like product development, like play lots of awesome games run by the person who, it's their sort of on the team of who its brainchild is. Like this is just such a cool thing. Definitely also, I'm really excited for Hellfinder and what you're doing. Really excited for Pathfinder Quest, which should be in the fall, hopefully. And yeah. Thank you
Yeah, I
again
think,
for giving us your time.
my focus has been on Hellfinder because it's coming up in July. But obviously, during the day, I spend most of my time working on stuff for Paizo, including Pathfinder Quest, which has been a kind of labor of love for like a year now of us working pretty hard on bringing this game to life. And we're really excited to kind of showcase it and give people a sense of what the game is all about. Pathfinder Quest is, a big deluxe board game experience. It's a chance to get a sense of our world and our story and our gameplay without having to dive into the full RPG. It's going to be a big deal. And we're really excited to tell people more about it, but we're not quite ready to do so yet. I know you've gotten a chance to play. We've started rolling out some play tests. We're going to be doing more demos and stuff here at Gen Con coming up here in a few months. As we get closer and closer to the launch this fall. But yeah, Pathfinder Quest is going to be a full kind of deluxe game experience. Really excited to talk more about that in the coming months.
Yeah.
Me too.
Super excited. Jason, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. And I love you were on that background change too.
The advantages of being a streamer, I have my whole setup ready to go.
That was sweet. Well, thank you again, and I hope you have the rest of your day.
Thank you very much, everybody. Good luck with the funding round. Glad to be a part of it.
Thank you so much for your support. Really appreciate it, Jason. Talk to you soon.
All right, everybody.
Thanks. And our last guest, and again, if you have any questions, Q&A, please drop those down below. But this is our final guest, Joseph Goodman of Goodman Games. And I think I've said every single creator has been my favorite creator who has come on, but this is the truth. Joseph, I love you so much. I had like a preamble of things I was going to say about you, but we are running short on time. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and let us know how you came into the world of RPGs and crowdfunding and who you are and what you've been doing.
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Joseph Goodman, or I guess just Joe Goodman is easier. I own a game company called Goodman Games. We publish role-playing games kind of in book format. I brought along some of the stuff we've actually crowdfunded on BackerKit, so think of it as books. And basically, I'm a gaming geek. I've been gaming my whole life in various forms. My brother and I had a giant table in the basement. We played Warhammer 40,000. Then we had a D&D campaign, which started on the back steps. And then it just kept going. In college, I played way too many video games and eventually discovered I was supposed to be studying. And then founded a game company, and it went from there. And I've been working with you guys for many years now, and it's been awesome.
I thought you were gonna say a lot more, man.
I
And
could
was
go
gonna
on,
say-
but that's enough.
I was gonna say one of your most recent campaigns was Caverns of Thrassia, which was Goodman Games' biggest crowdfunding campaign. That was on BackerKit, and you were actually you were the first creator to do collab funding on BackerKit with your Purple Planet. You had 9 creators all run their own solo campaigns under the Purple Planet system. Is that what you call it? A system or
yeah.
setting? Okay, my bad. Setting. And that's kind of what just springboarded our group collabs. You have been the pioneer for that. So exciting to have you here today. What has been I know you've had 2 decades of, RPGs and crowdfunding under your belt. What has been your proudest moment as a creator? And please do not mention the Mega Pledge Manager that we did.
No, you got me thinking about this question. I actually think it hasn't happened yet. So here's why. So I have 2 kids, right? They were one of the perks of my cross collab with my wife, and they're 13 and they're 7. And I went to KublaCon this past weekend, which is a great gaming convention here in the Bay Area. If you're down near the San Francisco airport, awesome con. And we played a bunch of games, brought the whole family. My wife was there, even though she doesn't game, but she put up with us. And I ran my kids through a game of Dungeon Crawl Classics role-playing game, which is this RPG that I designed. And it's like a chore for them that they have to do with their dad. So I think it was like a 7-year-old, a 13-year-old, a 9-year-old, and like 2 dads. And my kids, after an hour, they're like, "Dad, we're so bored." So I think my proudest moment will be when my kids are ready to actually appreciate my products. Right now, I have this like awesome office filled with D&D art, and it's just like where they go to do their homework, And I think someday they'll come around to realizing, I don't work in a coal mine. Like, we actually have kind of a cool experience at home with like, not everybody gets to grow up with all this cool stuff around them. And, someday they'll appreciate that. So when that moment comes, I think that will be my proudest moment.
Oh, I don't know. I've heard the kids yearn for the mines, but maybe that can be something in the pipeline, like a D&D and RPG for kids, though. Like what's gonna get them going? So
Well,
I don't know, Joe. Put that in your basket of ideas.
Exactly. I mean, one of my kids is into math. He just likes rolling dice, and like probability. So I think that's going to be the hook for them. The other one, when I was a kid, there was like nothing to do. You sat around in the summer like counting bugs. And nowadays there's like Roblox and iPads and Minecraft and Fortnite. It's just a different era. So, well, they can be whoever they want to be. Gamers or non-gamers. I'm not judgmental. We'll just see where it goes. But hopefully someday they come to appreciate what I'm doing.
Max, did you want to jump in? Or I have another question.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, yeah, thanks, Joe. Again, I think you get great call out that like I obviously it was very inspiring both for other publishers or again other groups of folks like running that Purple Planet I think was just such a kind of pivotal moment for us that we kind of had an idea, you ran with it, then we kind of make all these grand designs on the back of it. But can you actually maybe like talk about what it was like to sort of collaborate? I assume maybe you've collaborated with those 8 or 9 other folks before on other projects.
Yeah. So we have in my little world of RPGs, you've all heard of open software, open gaming licenses, probably things like that. And that exists. And we've worked with a pool of indie publishers where we design something and they sort of plug into that. We've done versions of that for many years. We just never tried to line it all up in a crowdfunding. So there were, I want to say months, maybe even a year's worth of conversations leading up to that point where we picked some that we'd had a close working relationship with and who had like, just had the experience in crowdfunding, had not just thought about crowdfunding, but had run a couple, delivered on it. I mean, anybody can have an idea, but actually fulfilling it is a major step, as all of you know. And so after sort of vetting that list and finding the right partners, we talked a lot. And honestly, you guys now have all sorts of tools. BackerKit has an amazing suite of tools that I think makes the collaborative experience. Now it's very seamlessly integrated. At that time, in the olden days of cross collabs, it was very much like, can we do this? How do we do this? Who do I email? What do we do? And it was a lot of, I showed Rosanna the spreadsheet we did of like, we don't want to spam backers by accident because we all do an update on the same day. So you got Thursday, you got Tuesday, that kind of thing. So I think a lot of it was just talking and collaboration and communication. And by some miracle, we pulled it off. And it was really cool. Creatively, it's really cool because we had one setting and everybody got to throw their own ideas for adventures in that setting in one place. And we're working on something similar that'll probably come later this year, next year, which will be same concept, even bigger. I won't go into details. But now you guys have all these tools that make it much easier, frankly. And we've been able to use Purple Planet to go to other people and say, like, look, we did this thing. Now we can do something that's like a +1 on that, help us out with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's so kind of essential to kind of how we've always collaborated with creators is like, yeah, the first person is like mad scientist mode a little bit. And then it's our job to, yeah, like isolate the genius, get rid of some of the, hard parts that make it hard, and then like try to figure out how do we keep iterating. I mean, I think the pledge manager itself, no one asked for a pledge manager when we started, right? They just had a series of problems that needed solving. And it did actually take some time lots of people who are willing to think a little differently and push things forward and willing to get their hands dirty a little bit to solve the problems that hopefully we don't have to solve again in the future. But, doing new things sometimes can be messy. And I just think that that's kind of been our platform for a long time. And it was just another great moment. So I'm just grateful to have a collaborator like yourself to sort of, help it be kind of this messy middle, because creation can be messy a little bit. And, something I tell the team a lot is like, when we're doing something for the first time, it might be kind of goofy or we might not have everything figured out. But what we get to take with us is like the insight and revision after we got through it the first time or the second time and the third time. And then what ends up happening, and this has been true for a lot of different BackerKit, both in the pledge manager days, in the crowdfunding phase, is, we really thrive on having some innovative creators to help us, but our goal is to make it smooth eventually. So then in 2 or 3 years, when someone does it, they're not going to know all the like stuff that we had to go through to sort of get it to be just working. Right? I think this is another thing, again, why I'm grateful to work with creators, because they're willing to problem solve through anything just because of the passion for whatever they're trying to make. So I'm just super grateful for you giving us a shot, and hopefully we can continue to build awesome things and help Goodman Games grow even more.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm an investor now, so I'll be at the board meetings.
Yeah.
We'll be having discussions.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
We're here,
no,
man.
but
Just
totally.
yeah.
That's exactly what I told my team was like, this is new and untested territory. Just as when people went west and discovered there were, I don't know what, coyotes that ate them. I mean, nobody gets eaten on BackerKit, but in principle, there will be things you got to solve, and that's fine because you're trying something brand new. And I like the fact that what we did, I guess 2-3 years ago, whenever it was, now there's like literally a button you push, that like opens you up for cross collab. All this stuff turned into like a very simple button. So exactly what you said, you go through this journey. And it's not just me, it's going to be somebody else who has some really crazy idea and says, what about this for the future of crowdfunding? And you guys are the ones who are, you have the laboratory that we welcome all the mad scientists in and say, yeah, let's pour those beakers together and see what happens. And, sometimes it's penicillin and sometimes it explodes, but we'll all figure that journey.
Well, I was gonna say, Joseph, you are one of the maddest scientists, and I love it. You always poke me, and I gotta go poke Mackenzie and our product team and be like, "Hey, so Joe wants this thing," and then voila, we make stuff happen. Okay, so final. What do you want to plug or promote? I know you've got City State of Invincible Overlord coming up, I think, in 14 days. Do you want to shout that out?
Exactly. Yeah. Basically, everybody get ready for what was originally the 3rd setting ever for D&D. And we are going to bring it back for the modern edition, and I think it'll be quite popular. So City State of the Invincible Overlord, watch for that soon.
Holy cow. All right, Joseph, thank you so much for joining today. It is always a pleasure to
guys.
speak with you. I can't wait to see you at Gen Con later this year. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks a lot. I'll talk to y'all later.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, I know we're scrunched for time, but I think we're gonna pass it on to Rosanna now.
Yes, if anyone has questions, drop them in. We'll get to at least a handful of them at the end, but we will also reply via email to any that we don't have a chance to chat about. Go ahead, Rep.
Cool. Round of applause for all these amazing creators that just appeared here. So lucky to work with all of you. But I know we're strapped for time, so just a few quick shout outs for their community. So I want to shout out to the creators who believed in us back in 2012 when we first built our first pledge manager. Shout out this throwback to Emily of Endless for being our very first customer, and early partners like Samantha Rose from Get It Right, Jason Hui from Dark Sucks, and Peter Daring with Peak Design. You all helped shape BackerKit from day one. So, and next shout out, I want to shout out the people who were early adopters for our crowdfunding platform, Rachel from Core Forums that you just saw, Stuff with Fair Games, Monty Cook Games, Mini Museum, and Goodman Games, and more. So you all saw something bigger than what the space offered at the time, and we're grateful to you that you took a leap with us. And then also shout out to the 50% of the creators who had their best campaigns ever on BackerKit. Some of you saw as well too here, Rachel, Joe, Simon, Rico, Carly, you didn't just launch, you soared. Yeah, and then to all the collab funding creators who weren't afraid to break out from the old crowdfunding mold, you know, understand the power of community and collaboration to grow something bigger together. So yeah, big shout out to those folks. And I think we'll drop in a link here showcasing some of those folks that have done some collab funding and some that are currently live. So check that out. And then also to our backers who've championed for us and showed up super strong in this WeFunder round. We couldn't have done it without you. And last but not least, to our BackerKit team, you know, these are the real ones behind the scenes, supporting creators, backers, and each other every step of the way. I'm lucky to work with such a passionate crew of folks. And yeah, just, you know, huge thanks to all of you, creators, backers, and the team. You make BackerKit what it is. So thank you. Again, handing it off to Max.
Awesome. Yeah, so just wanted to say, you know, if you haven't invested already, please join us. You know, this is kind of such a, I know this is like a different thing to do to sort of crowdfund your crowdfunding platform, but again, just like we built with our creators and built with backers for all these years, we really think that the future of crowdfunding is by building it together with the people who want to see it succeed. So we're really excited to kind of take this next leap. It's definitely something very different for us, you know. Obviously, we want to go faster and build more stuff for creators. And, you know, we probably could have taken a traditional fundraising approach, but we felt like this was more authentic to who we are. We thought that it almost could be like a hack to even help us go faster, right? We've had the privilege to only have to answer to our creators and backers. And by fundraising this way, that's still totally the same. It's just in kind of a different way. So really appreciate you kind of going on this experiment with us. We think it's going to be really exciting. We're already kind of blown away with all the support we've gotten from our creators and actually also backers too. I know that sounds kind of funny to say we're surprised by that, but really appreciate it if you're a backer and you believe in crowdfunding and you supported us. That really means the world to us. So we're really grateful. But please join us. We're actually above 1,500 now. So I should have updated the slide, but oh well. Yeah, it's just been really cool to see through this public phase. And yeah, just thanks again. If you do have any questions, you can email me max@backerkit.com. I'm happy to chat with anybody. If you're watching this now, watching it recorded, I'm happy to chat and answer any questions that you do have. And maybe that's a great transition to get to some of the QA.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Max. I'm just gonna look through some of the comments we've gotten. There's been a couple different themes, but there were some around collab funding. So one person asked, you know, can you tell us a bit more about how collaborative crowdfunding campaigns work? Can any creators work together? Can only established creators work with fellow established creators? Someone's considering doing a crowdfunding campaign in the Urban Fantasy Action Exposition book and wants to consider trying this new technology that we have. Can you tell us more about it?
Yeah, so I think one of the things that you'll be kind of seeing from us is kind of a sort of request for collab funding event that we'll be putting out there. I think the most powerful thing that would be really helpful is like, you know, I'd love to know what communities you hang out on and like, let's go work together to try to find a few folks. One of the things that's been really interesting about collab funding is we've seen it work with 3 creators, we've seen it work for 20 creators, we've seen it work for 100 creators. So, you know, your tribe doesn't need to be super huge. We definitely could do a better job of trying to figure out who's interested in this and can we match people together. So that's something I think we're actively doing. You should definitely join our Discord, actually, which we should drop a link to that because that's where we're kind of starting some of those conversations. But yeah, I think we probably do need to write some sort of playbook for like, hey, how do you find a friend or 2 friends that are sort of similar or, you know, enough different? Because it only takes a few kind of folks clustered together to make it be something that's sort of exponentially interesting. To say too, that's I think the other way that we're super interested as a platform. We got another question I saw just about, oh, I'm in a category that I don't necessarily see represented in BackerKit, and that totally makes sense. There's sort of this effect of like we've kind of see ourselves sort of, you know, lily pad leapfrogging to sort of different communities that are slightly adjacent. That's one of the things I'm really excited about collab funding. A perfect example of this actually was Mothership Month, which I've referenced, which is Tuesday Night Games. It was similar to what Joe did with Purple Planet, but it was more of an open call for proposal for them, or sort of a little bit of a wider community. Mothership is sort of a RPG setting. And they had a bunch of sort of pre-existing community, and they were all like, well, our mothership backers on BackerKit. And that was one of, I think, the really powerful things is by sort of all launching together, they could make sure that it was an event in their community that brought people to BackerKit so they could lean into it. And they had a wild amount of success sort of across the sort of stratosphere from both bigger projects in the sort of ecosystem to smaller ones. So it's a really cool kind of strategic thing. And we've just found it does scale down to, smaller. It doesn't have to be this 30 project to do. It can be 3 people or whatnot.
So
sounds
Max,
like
it can
also-
be 2 creators working together. It can be, a small group, or it can be something bigger. And as long as sort of the campaign expectations and the existing audience match up, you don't have to be super established to start out. Is that fair?
Yep,
Awesome.
totally. And you get to do it together, which, it's always one of those things. It's scary to go alone, better to go with a friend.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Awesome. Another question came in here. Someone wondering, is a BackerKit app on the table for the future?
Yeah, definitely stay tuned. It's definitely on our radar. We want it to be really good and have some interesting ideas about it. So I don't have any specific timeline, apologies, but just know that it is on our radar and we're thinking about it deeply.
Awesome. One quick question here, and if we have not answered your question, we are going to follow up with people there. But someone asked, why did BackerKit choose equity crowdfunding versus, through WeFunder instead of either traditional venture capital or raising on our own platform? I think it's a useful distinction to share for anyone who's listening in.
Yeah, so it's definitely an interesting story. Whether or not it's our own platform or not, that's actually an interesting question. I mean, we felt like we were sort of like trying to focus on growing the future of the business. I also think it aligns our incentives with our customers by trying to, first and foremost, going towards our creators. Like I said, I think there's for our creators, there's kind of 3 different reasons. Like a strong BackerKit helps them grow. Hopefully, if they budget the 10K and up, they can, earn back their credit, so to speak. And then third, they can share in any upside of the platform. So we just felt like that was important to really codify that. And if you do want to do equity as any type of things, it is actually a regulated thing by the SEC. So you need to use a platform like WeFunder. Interestingly enough, Roseanne and I were in the same Y Combinator batch as the founders of WeFunder. So we've known the folks over there for like 13 years. And kind of for 13 years, they're like, when are you going to do a WeFunder? And at the time, we were like, I don't know when it would fit. And so it kind of was just a coalescing of, hey, we have been bootstrapped. We think it's really served us. Like to say if BackerKit was venture capital funded out of the gate, I don't know if we'd still be here because it took building with our creators and building it up again and again and again to do that. I think we're at this amazing moment right now where if we have more money, we get to go faster. I think if we don't get money, we can still grow and do what we're sort of doing. But we think there's a moment here for creators that they need what we're thinking, for us to go faster is really important. So that is why we didn't pick it there. There was a third piece of that.
No, I
which
think
is
it was
like-
the 2 pieces. Why didn't we do
Yeah.
it on our own platform, which is that it's regulated, and then why not VC? I'd say, just to add a quick comment here, as someone who's raised tens of millions of dollars of venture capital, had venture capitalists on my board, worked for other companies and been on those boards. There is I specifically chose to go to a company that did not have that model for my next piece, because there is very frequently, for anyone who's been behind the scenes at startups, a tension between what's the right thing to build for our users in the business and what's the thing you need to build to raise the next round of funding. And they're not always the same thing. They're related, but you do have to balance those. And it means you don't always make the choice for the user. You don't always make the choice for the long-term best things in the business. And so it's so exciting to be in a business that has that set up and that continues to be committed to that independence. At least for me, I see it as a huge perk. I think I know we're a few minutes over. I want to be really respectful of people's time who've joined us. Lafayette, I'll let you wrap us up, but for any questions we didn't answer, we will follow up, and please do come check out the WeFunder page.
Yes, just echoing that. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for being a part of BackerKit. Just BackerKit, period. Like not the community, not like the company, just like we are, we're our own name. We're Madonna now. But yes, please go check out our crowdfunding campaign at wefunder.com/BackerKit. You can invest. The lowest amount is $100, easy peasy, and you can get, a slice of the pie in the sky. But yeah, if you have any questions, you can always email us at crowdfunding@backerkit.com. That will come to my team. You might get a personal email from me. But yeah, that's what we're trying to do here at BackerKit. We're just, we exist for the creators, and we're just here to support you and support this, what's to come in the future. So thank you so much for joining. Thank you, Max. Thank you, Rosanna. I've enjoyed working with you guys for the past, 6 years. Alex is newer. Enjoyed working with you since you joined on. But yeah, thank you, everybody, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday.
Thank you all.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
everyone.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.